Looking for a new career? Welcome to Do HVAC Training Service Center in North Charleston. Enroll today in our comprehensive HVAC training hands-on field experience-based program, covering troubleshooting, maintenance, installation, and more on various HVAC systems and ductwork. We offer EPA and NAEP preparation and testing, along with various certifications. Enjoy payment options. Achieve certification in under 5 months. Enroll now for your new journey of skill development and career advancement. Log on to DEWHVACTrainingSC.com to inquire.
Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
what's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
What I'm doing here is measuring the purity. Pure Coke, it melts away at about 185, 190 degrees. Cutting agents, they melt away at about 100. And quality product, well, that starts melting at around 140. 130, good. 140, yes. 150. Fuck me running. 160. Jesus Christ, 170, 180, 187. Where did you get this stuff?
Colombia.
Oh, do you mind if I do a line?
Yeah, go ahead. Fuck it, let's all do one.
I can't feel my face. I mean, I can touch it, but I can't feel it inside.
On this episode of The Commercial Break.
Pete he did a great job telling this story, right? He took us from point A to point B, and we said, you have raised the bar on TCB stories, my friend, because he basically took up an entire episode with just this thing that he had written. That was until that episode came out, and then someone tried to top him. Where are the balls on this guy?
He has none. Did you see? He just immediately looked.
He looked right to his mom. He looked right to his mom. He said, yes, mom. Yes, mom.
Right.
Yes, mom.
Whatever you think.
God bless. I hope I don't raise children like this.
No.
I mean, I really hope I don't raise children like this. I don't see any signs of my wife being this way, but if I do,
you're gonna have to have
it's
a talk.
straight to the therapist. I mean, it's straight to the therapist. This cokehead sponsored by Coors Light.
It must open the doors.
He must open the doors. It was as if when the doors flew open, the music stopped with a screech and the entire wedding paused. Thaddeus Maximus was in the house.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Welcome back to another episode of The Commercial Break. I am Brian Green. This is my dear friend and co-host, Kristen Joy Hoadley. Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Brian.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. How the hell are you? Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of this, The Commercial Break. It's not for everyone, but fact, news, or fiction in 1 minute or less guaranteed, or your money back. Go to the brand new TCBpodcast.com to collect your winnings. Welcome on board. Ding, 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 ding. Man, did we get a lot of feedback from our episode last week about Petey and his...
the mother-in-law, or potential.
Yes, Petey and his...
The potential mother-in-law.
Pole-like pizzle. And so we got a number of text messages. Some people believed the story. Some people didn't believe the story. A lot of people had follow-up questions left and right because they were like, I got it. Inquiring minds got to know what happened afterwards.
I know. I got those same questions.
Okay, I texted him back and I said, listen, there's a whole... You
started something.
You started something now. We can't stop. Like, you got to...
Yeah, it's a train.
And so I have been assured that Petey will follow up with some answers to some of the questions He says he doesn't want to get too much in detail because he's afraid that somebody might catch on to what's going on. It's a very unique story. And anybody that's listening is probably going to be familiar with, anybody who knows the story will probably be familiar with the story.
Yeah. So he's already ruined it anyways, so he should just tell us the rest.
Yeah. I mean, and I told him, I said, Pete, don't worry. I mean, it's the fucking commercial break. We're not smartless here. No one's going to know. No one gives a shit. I mean, honestly, the chances of someone listening to the commercial break that you know are so small. Our audience is,
Yeah. We only have a couple of friends that even listen to it.
Yeah. I don't have any family members that continue to.
No.
I get this one.
No.
I get, oh man, I love the show, but I'm so many episodes behind. You guys put out so much content. I just listened to the one where you talk about the preachers, and I'm like, episode number 3?
Yeah. It's true.
Oh, yeah. I listened to that one a couple months ago. You mean 3 years ago? You jackass. But I get it. If I had a family member or friend, close friend, who did a podcast like the commercial break, it is unlikely that I would listen to it either.
This is true.
It is just not, I don't know, it's a stupid little show, and everyone's heard my stories and my isms.
I think everybody chalks it up to, it's Bryan and Krissy hanging out, doing their thing.
Yeah, like we don't know what they're going to be talking about. They don't know that we've got a whole, a whole 13 people in Canada that just love this show.
Yeah.
And they keep us way high on the charts. Third worst show in Canada. It's still there. It's still sticking around.
All right.
Someone at Apple still trying to figure out how to fix that algorithm. I can see meetings at Apple. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do about this? This commercial break has been at the top of the chart.
Slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, but hey, listen,
we'll take it.
We'll take what we could get. It's one of the few accomplishments we actually have had here at the commercial break. So until we make money, get any notable listeners, any amount of notable listeners, we'll take number 3 in Canada. We for sure will. So Pete and his story have now driven everybody crazy, and I got some questions going back to Pete. I hope to get a response sooner rather than later, so too much time doesn't elapse. But what this has also started, I feel like, is a little bit of a contest to see who's got the better story, right? Now, before I get too far away from Pete, the whole reason why I thought the story with Pete was interesting, why I connected the dots on the story with Pete, well, I was watching the show, I Have a Mama's Boy, or I Am a Mama's Boy, or I Love a Mama's Boy, or something like that. Some stupid show on TLC, which is...
I'm in love with a Mama's Boy.
I'm in love with a Mama's Boy. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to give everybody just a taste of this. Now, I know we usually do the clips at the end of the show, but I'm going to push them here to the middle of the show so that we can take a listen to this show so you understand just how ridiculous...
Give some backstory.
This is one of the couples who has kind of survived the 4 seasons of I Love a Mama's Boy so far. To me, a lot of this feels very manufactured, but I don't know. You tell me.
Okay.
Here's the story. Guy has lived with his mother his entire life. She is a helicopter parent of epic proportions. They do everything together. They cut their toenails. They take showers together. I mean, they're doing weird stuff that adult children and adult parents should never be doing together. And now he's got himself a girlfriend that's about to turn into a fiance.
Yes.
They'd like to build a house. So were they going to build a house? Oh, I also might mention that the mother here, and I guess the father, are extremely well-to-do. Mm-hmm. And I also might mention that it seems like the kid, the boy, the man, I mean, whatever he is, he seems to be living off of that wealth.
Yeah, for sure.
So now the fiance, soon to be, bride of this man, and the man, they want to build a house. But of course, where do they have to build it? Mm-hmm. And how are they going to build it? They're going to build it with her money, his mother's money, on his mother's land.
On the property.
In Los Angeles, California.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so ready? Here we go.
Okay.
So today the architect is coming to discuss the plans for our new home, which will be, of course, on Kelly's property. Expect nothing less.
Kelly is the mother.
Yeah.
Hey,
Expect nothing less.
Hi, Kelly. Kim. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Matt, you said Matthew?
Hi, Kelly. Yeah, Pat, Matt, Kelly, Kim. It's easy.
Is that the dad?
That's the dad.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the few appearances I think the dad has ever made on this show because he's sick of this shit too.
Right.
Here, have you put any thought into where you might want things?
Yes. Okay, so yes, we're going to be living like walking distance from their home, but ideally we'd still have like those private spaces.
So focus some things out the back, maybe patio areas on the back side.
Right?
A little more, yeah, that's what we thought about.
We were thinking open concept for sure.
I don't know if I like that.
You don't like open concept?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to keep my options open.
What? What? Who doesn't like open concept? I want as many walls as possible in my brand new house. Is that possible? Can you do that?
Okay.
We can talk about that, though.
We'll work out some layouts.
Is that okay? Can that work?
I mean, I feel like the architect just like asked like what we want. So
yeah, but we want to include Mom because this is part of Mom as well. She has some
Look
ideas.
at her face. She's like, that's
that's right, bitch. Who's in charge of this household? Me. Whose cock is that? It's my cock. I birthed it. I'm still sucking it. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. It's so weird.
It is.
Matt and I have talked about things that we want on our wish list. But when it comes to decision making, like Matt feels this need to get that opinion from Kelly. And it makes me feel like what's my place and what's the purpose of me giving my opinion to begin with.
And what about a guest room when I want to stay over?
You can't walk 20 feet back to the house?
The architect's like, what did I step into here?
This architect is like, there's just some clients, it's not worth it. This lady is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Why would you ever, if you're the spouse or soon-to-be spouse, why would you ever agree to live on this property? Never.
No.
This is why part of this feels manufactured to me.
Yes.
Because this girl isn't stupid. I mean, you can tell she's got a brain on her shoulders. She's not.
No.
Yeah, this is all for the camera, I think.
Yeah.
But we need like that privacy. Like that's what we just talked about.
I don't think I'm being unreasonable to have my own bedroom there. I'm paying for it. So that's the way it is. And Kim is just going to have to get used to it. Maybe I could talk to you about setting up the house for an older person, maybe grip rails along the walls.
I'm planning on being there well into the future. That's what she's saying. This is the problem. I'm paying for it. Therefore, I want it my way. Why? First of all, you're 30 feet from the other house. Why do you need a bedroom in there? You don't. Second of all, don't let your mom pay for something if you want your own shit.
Independence. Yeah.
This guy is never going to leave mama's nest because he's smart too. He's like, I got it all made in the shade here. Why would I ever leave? There's another fiance around the corner. I don't need her.
You want to do grip rails now?
And for a wheelchair, instead of steps, we have a ramp.
It can all be laid out so there's minimal problems getting in and out.
When it comes to planning 30, 40, 50 years down the road, for me, it's like, why? Like, why are you making that decision right now?
I changed his diapers, and he's going to be changing mine.
Oh. She's like, yep, I won.
Where are the balls on this guy?
He has none. Did you see? He just immediately looked.
He looked right to his mom. He looked right to his mom. He said, yes, mom. Yes, mom.
Right.
Yes, mom.
Whatever you think.
God bless. I hope I don't raise children like this.
No.
I mean, I really hope I don't raise children like this. I don't see any signs of my wife being this way. But if I do,
you're gonna have to have a talk.
It's straight to the therapist. I mean, it's straight to the therapist.
Are you going to say anything?
I mean, I don't know. We kind of three have to be in agreement of what we're wanting. And I want Mom's opinion of like what she thinks we should do too, so that way we're all kind of on the same page.
Huh. So thanks for coming by,
The father's like, well, this is the part when all hell goes to the handbasket, so you might want to get out of here while you can.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by. We're probably not going to hire you, but you get it. Like, this mother-in-law is a total fucking nightmare. I mean, why would you ever choose to be in a relationship like this?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Never.
No.
So Pete should have long since left. Long since left, Pete.
Left the nest.
You should have. You told us in this story that you said, this incredibly elaborate story that you told us, You explained that there were so many red flags along the way.
Yeah.
And you chose to ignore them at every step, justify them, at every step say, well, it's a little weird, but.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, kids and cats and kittens out there. If your mother-in-law is anything like this woman that we just listened to, if she has
things
to have...
aren't going to change.
Things aren't going to change.
No.
And she's always going to win. Especially if her child is completely whooped like this guy is. He is brainwashed.
Knows fine.
None whatsoever. So Pete tells this story about how, he saw all these signs that there was a helicopter parent involved, that the mother and the daughter, his fiance and her mother had a really strange relationship from the beginning, yet he chose to ignore them. He pacified them. He excused them at every turn. And then she put him in a position on the rehearsal dinner night in a really bad position. Got him drunk. Got him up to a room, got him naked, and while he was passed out, she took pictures and sent them to her daughter, which was his fiance. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, the wedding is called off. And now Pete is left literally with his dick in his hand and nothing to show for it.
Yep.
Pete really, he did a great job telling this story, right? He took us from point A to point B, and we said, you have raised the bar on TCB stories, my friend, because he basically took up an entire episode with just this thing that he had written. That was until that episode came out, and then someone tried to top him. Now, there are two parts to this story. We are going to tell part one, because this is also a very long story. We're going to start. This guy is asking for advice just like Pete did, but Pete never really asked for any advice. He just told us a story.
Yeah, like a cautionary tale.
So we're going to call this Tattletale TCB, right? That's what we're going to call it.
I like it.
This guy is also asking for advice, but I don't have the second part of the story because I think I've reached the maximum limit of characters on a text message, and I think I lost the second part of the story. But fear not, it's on its way.
Okay.
But this is probably going to be a two-parter also, because I just don't think I can get all of these words in one episode. All the words and the commentary that's sure to follow. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Commercial Break. You can go to tcbpodcast.com if you want to find out more information about Krissy and I. Watch any of the video or listen to any of the audio episodes. You can do that right there at the website, tcbpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. 661-237-8296. That's 661, the word best, the number 2, YOYO. Drop us any questions, comments, concerns, or content ideas you have for the show, and we'll get back to you. I promise we will. If you'd like to take a look at the show, you can do that. youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. Feel free to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of the clips or full episodes that we release on a daily basis at youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. And if you'd like to be one of the few brave people who are following us on Instagram, go to @thecommercialbreak on IG. The question we get most often is, how can we best support the show? You can leave us a review, a comment, or a rating on your favorite podcast player. Wherever you're listening to us, it's likely that they have a review or rating system. Please take 1 minute out of your day and leave that review. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast also. If you hear one of our sponsors' commercials and you're inclined to buy their product or service, please use the specialized URLs or codes that we talk about on those ads so that our sponsors will continue to support the show and make it free and frequent to you. We love our TCB listeners, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for listening to the show. We're going to hear a word from said sponsors, and then we'll be back to this episode of The Commercial Break.
Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
what's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, Tattletale TCB, here we go. This is a story, and I think this is some gentleman out there trying to one-up Petey and his story. But this one, if true, is just as good. And we are not claiming the veracity of this story, by the way. This is somebody who's texting our phone line. Yes. We don't know them personally. Dear Bryan and Hoadley, I heard your episode last Friday and had me all fired up. There are so many questions that I have, and I won't rest until I get the answers. But I'll save these to the end of my story. And since Pete has set the bar so high, I will do my best to meet the challenge.
All right.
All right. I love this. I want your advice on something. How would you handle this family situation? Let me set the stage. The year was 2018, pre-pandemic. So take yourself back to a time when we did not worry about masks, social distancing, or getting the virus. Okay? I'm putting my brain there. All right? Death. We didn't worry about... We didn't worry about drinking bleach or whether or not Fauci had married Bill Gates' daughter. Yeah, we didn't, none of that stuff. Yeah. My wife, Tara, obviously not her real name, and I had been married for about 3 years at this point. One day out of the blue, my wife got a wedding invitation from a cousin she had spoken with very little since childhood. The cousin lived in Florida, and we were in Chicago. The wedding was to take place at the Ritz-Carlton in Florida late in the summer of that year. It doesn't specify which Ritz-Carlton.
Yep.
I actually suspect I might know which Ritz-Carlton, but we'll get to that later. I'd never met this cousin, and my wife had not spoken to her in many years, but we considered it a kind gesture to send us a wedding invitation and agreed that we would do our best to get to the wedding and treat ourselves to a nice end-of-summer vacation.
Yeah, it sounds like you can just turn into a vacation.
Absolutely. Those are the best kind of weddings, when they're destination and you don't really know the people, so you don't have to wrap yourself up in every little fucking bullshit that they're doing. You don't have to be there steam cleaning the groomsmen's tux before the wedding. That's right. I'll also tell you that my wife is I don't know why he put this in the story. Maybe we're missing this in the second story, but he says, I'll also tell you that my wife is a former model and both of us have been known to invite a third person into the bedroom.
Oh, spicy.
We have a rather wild sex life, or at least we did before the pandemic. That's a different story for a different time. And okay, thanks for including that. I'm not sure how this says. We'll get to it.
It's got to tie in something.
As the summer rolls on, I made a few extra bucks at my car dealership. Or
maybe that was
job.
An invitation to us.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think this guy wants to get on TCB is really what's going on. We've got a couple of those running around too, right? I made a few extra bucks on my car dealership job, and we were able to book flights and a room for the Ritz for a couple of days of fun in the sun and a small family reunion.
Nice.
Tara and I had also convinced her brother, Thad, and his wife to join us in Florida since they had gotten an invitation also. I really enjoyed hanging out with Tara's brother. He's one of a kind. Imagine Ronnie from the Jersey Shore meets Frankie B. He's in his...
That's a great combo.
He's in his late 40s. He's always talking about how wonderful he is, and he has absolutely no self-awareness. He basically thinks he's God's gift to women, and when he gets drunk, he is the best reality show you have ever watched. Nice. I love this guy. All right, okay, I'm down with that. September rolls around and we all head down to Florida. The place we are staying is absolutely gorgeous. It's a fucking Ritz-Carlton. What else do we expect? When we arrived at the hotel, there's a meet and greet party for all the guests coming to the wedding. It's very nice of them. Mm-hmm. The wedding this wedding we realize is huge. Maybe 250 people. Wow. Somebody's got some money.
Yeah.
It was clear right from the beginning that this was going to be a hard-charging party. To give you some commentary, that party... to give you some commentary, the meet and greet party. Oh, the bride had to be carried out of the meet and greet party after she passed out on the grand piano that was being played at the Ritz-Carlton lobby bar.
That's awesome.
All right, okay. Yeah. But it didn't stop with just drinks. Even though I had never met any of these people, everyone was super nice. We met a couple of the cousins Tara hadn't spoken with in years and many of the friends of the soon-to-be bride and groom. One of the husbands of the bride's sister was named Mike, and he lived down in Florida. On the first night, after the meet and greet party was officially over, we all went to a second bar inside of the hotel. Mike asked around the 20 or 30 of us that had joined this after party if we wanted to do a little finger dip. Finger dip.
The old finger dip.
If you know what I mean, Brian. Yes, I do. He took 2 or 3 people at a time up to his room where looked like he had an entire brick of Columbia's finest laid out on the bedside table.
Wow.
Guys, this shit got wild from the moment we stepped in the hotel room, and there was still 2 days left before the wedding.
Yeah.
Jesus. My wife and I took a little bump and politely excused ourselves to make sure we didn't blow the entire vacation on blow. But Thad, Tara's brother, he had different ideas.
Oh, yeah.
The next morning, Tara and I went down to the cafe to get some brunch.
And he's still up.
Thad's wife was there with a few other folks, and she was freaked out. She had last heard from her husband at 5 a.m. in the morning when he sent a photograph of himself and 3 other people she didn't recognize on a boat wearing sunglasses,
oh my God,
telling her that they had gone fishing.
Oh my God.
It was pitch black when the photo was taken. That's crazy.
Jeez, that's so dangerous.
You're on the ocean at 5 in the morning.
God.
I mean, I hope they're with a guy who knows how to drive a boat. You couldn't catch me dead on like a recreational boat, like watercraft in the middle of the night. No way.
In the ocean.
No. We all agreed that this was not unlike Thad and that he probably was still gallivanting around Jacksonville telling people how wonderful he was. We managed to calm his wife down, and I agreed I'd do a little investigating after breakfast. When I finished the meal, the first thing I did was go to find Mike the Muffin Man, as he was now being called. Mike, this is the guy with the cocaine, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
I went to the front desk, managed to get a room number, and was able to call up, and he actually answered the phone. He explained that him and Thad had met a guy at the bar who had a boat, and they all decided to take a drive and watch the sunrise. Thad was last seen hanging out in front of the hotel with the maid of honor, a sister of the bride, and her husband, both of which had been on the boat.
Okay. It's like a clue.
I was now
the game clue.
Yeah, I was now lead investigator in the case of the missing asshat. The first thing I knew to do was to talk to the valet and the bellman. It was 6 a.m. when he was last seen, and it was only 9:30 a.m. right now. Clearly, someone had seen something.
Yes.
My detective instincts were correct, as upon talking to one of the valets, I'd learned that Thad had suggested a dip in the jacuzzi located on the back of the property.
The jacuzzi.
He and the couple he was with had made their way back to the jacuzzi, and without any bathing suits, decided to go al natural. I'm sure this sounded like a good idea at the time,
Yeah,
but as the sun was rising, some of the people whose rooms were facing the jacuzzi did not find this a pleasant wake-up call.
No.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
this
you look
actually happened at a wedding of mine. At first, when I started reading this, I was like, are they talking about my wedding? Well, it's okay. With similar consequences, by the way. Yeah, they have those, the big pool complex, and then they got the big jacuzzi, and there's some of those rooms are facing the jacuzzi, so you can't just be out there naked when the sun's rising.
No,
someone's bound to catch you. There's kids in the fucking hotel, right?
Yeah.
Some of the people did not find this to be a pleasant wake-up call. Security was called. They refused to put on clothing or get out of the jacuzzi, and eventually Thad was kicked out of the hotel.
Oh, geez.
Took us another 2.5 hours and a credit card transaction later to find out that he was staying at a Hampton Inn about 2.5 miles down the beach. A couple of well-placed phone calls and one crying wife later, we got the hotel manager to do a welfare check where he found Thad on the couch in the hotel room masturbating to hardcore porn on the television.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! It was a happy reunion between Thad and his wife, and by that I mean they did not speak to each other for the rest of the day. We had to convince the Ritz-Carlton management to allow him back into the hotel under strict supervision and promises he would keep his clothes on and his nose clean. Let's move ahead a little bit to the night before the wedding. A few of us who had managed to behave ourselves were invited to join the casual rehearsal dinner at a seafood restaurant down in the town. One of the people invited was Tara's sister. However, Thad was not welcome. Word had gotten around about the mishap in the jacuzzi, and everyone felt it was best that he stayed in the hotel room until it was time to check out.
Yes.
I'm kidding, but not really. Tara's sister was so over it, she decided to go to the rehearsal dinner without her husband in tow. This turned out to be the mistake that probably ruined the rest of the wedding. Oh, what happens next? Here's where things get good. While we were away at the rehearsal dinner, Thad decided to hook up with Mike to make sure he had enough pedal power to keep him company for the night. While we all had cocktails and crab legs downtown, Thad drank whiskey and snorted marching powder in one of the bars at a hotel next to the Ritz.
Oh, shit.
As the rehearsal dinner wrapped itself, we noticed that the maid of honor and her husband had taken off a bit early. I would have never paid attention to something like this, but it was my wife's keen eye that alerted me to the situation.
Uh-huh. Weren't they the ones in the jacuzzi as well?
They were the ones in the jacuzzi as well. So now I'm like, in this part of the story, I'm wondering a little bit if what's going on here is like a little threesome.
Right.
We already know just based on like color characterizations that Thad is the kind of guy that's willing to do anything at any time. He's a white man in his late 40s who's willing to snort coke and drink booze at a stranger's wedding.
Yes.
This is not the kind of guy that you want at your wedding. This is the kind of guy who's likely to make trouble no matter where he goes.
Of course.
And if he's anything like Frankie B and or Ronnie from the Jersey Shore, who I don't know all that well, but isn't he the guy who's just like a lug nut running around, like cheating on everybody and sleeping with everybody and screaming and yelling?
Yeah.
I guess they all
are. Yeah.
Thad should never have been left alone under any circumstances.
Like Thad was going to take a bubble bath and go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Nah.
My guess is that Thad is still up from the first night.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So now let's continue here. We all decide. It was my wife's eye that that had a keen eye that alerted me that the maid of honor and her husband had left the rehearsal dinner early. We all decided to do a little bar hopping around this cute town, and a few hours went by. Right after midnight, we decided to jump in an Uber and go back to the hotel where we were joined by the bride. Okay, so now it's the bride, and Tara and her husband, the guy who's writing this story, are all in an Uber on the way back to the Ritz-Carlton. During the car ride home, the bride never took her eyes off her phone. She was texting rapidly. And with every text message response, she seemed to get more upset and more irritated. She explained to us that the maid of honor's husband couldn't find the maid of honor. She had turned off her phone and was nowhere to be found. The last time he saw her was, you guessed it, at the hotel next door with Thad, where they were having drinks and some yayo. I want to meet this family.
I know.
It's like the Kennedys or something, doesn't it?
Yes.
It sounds like the Kennedys and the Jackass people are making a movie together. Apparently, the maid of honor's husband had walked back to the hotel to change his clothes, and when he came back to the bar, they were nowhere to be found.
Whoa.
Fucking A, man. I can't imagine.
They took off.
I've been in a few relationships.
Yeah.
Where unfortunately drugs and alcohol were involved on more than a few occasions.
Yeah.
When you get twisted like this, shit starts happening and you don't know what's going on.
No, like basically any kind of self-consciousness or, or like
any kind of jealousy, anything. It all gets blown out of proportion.
Yeah, and everything too flies out the window is like what time it is and what you're doing.
And what you should or should not be doing.
Yes.
And I luckily I haven't been in this situation in my marriage, but because I don't party like that anymore. Yeah. But I remember with a woman that I was with, we were all partying hard one night after we had all worked at the bar.
Yeah.
And that included drugs and alcohol, much like this situation, drugs and alcohol. And the guy who was dealing the drugs had been invited up to party with us. And so now this is like an intimate party of 6.
Yes.
At one point in the night, I was playing, Pink Floyd's The Wall for the 333rd time with the host of the party who was playing harmonica to Pink Floyd's The Wall. And I don't know what happened, but my wife and the dealer were gone.
Right.
I don't know. It's just all of a sudden gone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That weird sense that you're like, what happened?
Where'd they go?
The host of the party, I started asking the question, like, where did she go? Where did she go? Where did she go? Where did they go? Where did they go? And the host of the party went looking because it was his house, and he found her and the dealer making out at the bottom of the fucking stairs.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Shit gets weird.
Shit does get
when
weird.
you make shit weird, shit gets weird. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. Don't make shit weird. Okay, apparently he had walked back to the hotel to change his clothes when he came back to the bar.
They're not
nowhere
there.
to be found. Okay. When we got back to the hotel, we found ourselves in the middle of a bit of a search party.
Again.
While no one thought these two people had been kidnapped by some cartel or drowned at the hotel pool, this was a bit concerning because this guy was an idiot and had proven Thad was an idiot and had proven himself incapable of rational thoughts time and time again.
Yep.
God, Thad.
He was on a bender.
Yeah, this is the kind of guy you want on a commercial break. You know what I'm saying? You could convince him to come on, but not sober, completely twisted.
Yeah.
We went back to the bar to talk to the bartender. We're talking about the bar next door where they were. We came up with nothing. The bill had been paid and they had left.
This is like the movie The Hangover.
I know.
Where they're trying to recreate.
And you know, it's hard to go to a destination wedding and not incur some drama like this.
True.
I dare anybody who's been to a destination wedding to not remember at least some drama that happened during that wedding, especially if they're the drinking type, right? Especially if they're the partying type.
Yep.
But this is starting to go a little further than I've ever seen it go. We went back to the bar. We came up with nothing. The bill had been paid, and the two had left as soon as the maid of honor's husband had walked out the door. We checked the bathrooms. We checked the hotel. Finally, my wife and I decided to get out of the drama and go upstairs to have one more drink, or go downstairs to have one more drink before turning in for the night.
At the Ritz.
At the Ritz. Her brother was a fucking moron, and he had ruined yet another family event. This is her brother.
God.
This is her brother. Yeah. This is his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Here's what happened next. Some of the people who went looking decided to check the beach. Since the hotel was right on the beach, it made sense that maybe the two were out having a drink or, God forbid, taking a night swim in the ocean. One of the groomsmen walked from our hotel to the hotel toward the hotel next door where the bar was. He was about 100 feet in front of 3 other women who were also checking the beach. As he was walking, he saw 2 dark figures on the beach near the dune. He called out, "Thad!" He heard no response. He got a little closer and called out again, "Thad, is that you?" No response. Thinking that the noise from the waves was making it hard to hear, he walked a little closer, turned on his cell phone light, and became witness to 2 divorces at the same time. Thad and the maid of honor were on the dune, completely naked, no clothes to be found, holding each other close, clearly shaken by the fact that they had been caught.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Now, let me get this straight. Hold on 1 second. Again, I don't know the veracity of this story, but I'm just thinking this through for myself. You're at the hotel bar. Okay, I'm with my wife. I'm at the hotel bar, and there's some crazy jacked up motherfucker who keeps talking about how big his dick is with us too, right? And he's got a pile full of cocaine, and he's buying drinks, and everyone's getting twisted.
Yes.
I decide to extricate myself from the situation to go get changed.
I know.
I don't think so. First of all. Second,
good point.
What, did I shit myself? What happened? If you poo-poo pee-pee? I mean, come on. What are you doing? Why are you going next door to get changed?
Don't go get changed.
Unless you're going next door to do more drugs. Now that I can understand, right? And maybe that part just didn't get onto the story. But now let me also get this part straight. The second I leave, those two check out of the hotel. They check out of the bar.
Yeah.
And then they go directly into the path of where I have to walk backwards to get a little fun, to get a little
well, I don't know. Did you? But they were on the beach. Like maybe you could walk on the street.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I didn't
you could go right.
That's true. Maybe there was a walkway or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Okay. I'll reserve judgment. Okay. Clearly shaken. He found them holding each other close. Clearly shaken by the fact that they had not, or that they had just been caught.
Yep.
Had the groomsman been the only one to see this, maybe things would have been a little bit different. But a few seconds later, the pack of chatty wolves walked up on the scene and shit hit the fan.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand that I was not there.
Was Thad's wife part of the crew that was looking?
No, remember, they're up at the bar. They've decided we just probably spare ourselves the embarrassment and go up and have a drink and don't be any part of it. Yeah. Right?
No, but I'm saying Thad's wife.
No, Thad's wife.
The wife.
Yeah, the wife. I have no idea. No. I don't know where she is. Yeah. Maybe she's downtown having sex with another guy. Sounds like these two are wild. Anything goes in this relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again,
totally
more questions that need answers. And when it's written down, you can't hold it to some kind of scrutiny because you can just read what they wrote. You can infer, but you're right. Where is the wife?
Yeah, where's his wife?
Maybe the wife has got to be a part of the search party.
That's
I would
what
imagine.
I'm thinking.
But maybe she's not part of this. cattle of, women that are behind. I don't know.
She's like, it's Thad. He does this every time.
I think they're making the right call here. If I know who Thad is, I'm probably going to hide. Yeah. Like, I don't know that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to be any part of his behavior. Yeah. I want you to know that I'm a gentleman, and I don't want to have any part of this. He's already gotten kicked out of the hotel for refusing to get out of the jacuzzi while he has no clothes on. He's already, 16 grams of cocaine into it, and he's only been there for 37 hours. Yeah. I mean, this guy is a high wire act.
Yeah.
He's a higher wire act. You have to understand, I wasn't there. We were in the hotel lobby having a drink. We had no idea what was going on. This was all relayed to us after the fact. But apparently, Thad and this woman had been flirting since the very first night.
Okay.
Her husband was growing increasingly uncomfortable with the situation. Her husband had even complained to the bride that Thad was a bit much and he was making everybody uncomfortable, except for his wife.
Yep. And just another reason to not go get changed.
To not go get changed. No. Don't leave these two alone. First of all, talk about major trust issues here. I mean, if you can't leave your significant other alone with somebody for 5 seconds and not believe that they're going to have sex on the beach within minutes, this is a problem. I sense that this marriage was on the rocks in the first place.
I think so too. That's probably why Thad's wife was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's right.
She's like, this is it. I was just trying to get squeezed one more Ritz Carlton vacation out of things.
The juice is not worth the squeeze. When the three of them went to go hang at the next door bar and have a party a little while after the rehearsal dinner, the husband did not want to go, but his wife insisted, and so he decided to join so as not to leave her alone. Talk about trust issues. I guess in this case it was warranted. I guess so.
Sounds like it.
Every destination wedding has a little good drama. See, I just said that. And this one turned out to be a headbanger. It didn't take long before the news spread around the hotel, and we found ourselves calling around to find a new hotel that we could put Tara's brother in. Since Tara was already going to murder her brother if she found herself within 5 feet of him, I decided to take an Uber ride with him to make sure he got to the hotel okay. Smart move here. Smart move by
Again, he's just alone, so his wife is out of the picture.
I don't know where his wife is. Yeah. This guy was Thad was pretty banged up at this point.
I think he needed to go home.
Yeah, like on a plane.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know you could get on a plane.
All right, that's true.
And it's a long way to Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Thad was pretty banged up at this point and basically had zero remorse about what just happened. When we got into the Uber, he kept asking, why is everyone so upset? It's just two consenting adults. Yeah, you're both married. I didn't even bother to explain that the situation as I knew it. I didn't even bother trying to explain the situation, as I knew even if he was 100% sober, it wouldn't make a lick of difference. He was a numbnuts and had been doing this kind of shit since I'd known him. When I got Thad to the hotel to make sure that he had checked in and actually got inside the room, I asked him if he had any additional drugs. He promised me he did not. I told him not to take a drink, don't call this guy Mike, and he promised he wouldn't. I said goodnight, and the last thing he asked me on the way out the door was, what time is the wedding tomorrow? You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, Thad.
I told him the next time we would be seeing each other was on the way to the airport. He should not come to the wedding under any circumstances.
No.
The next day, Tara and I made ourselves scarce. We went off the hotel property to hang out on the beach, and we questioned whether or not we should even show up to the wedding. We had nothing to do with this pile of steaming shit, but we were related to this pile of steaming shit. Yeah. Thad's poor wife was a hot mess, and this was
there's the mention of the wife.
And this was understandable. She couldn't even bring herself to leave the hotel room that day. As the hours of the wedding drew close, my wife and I decided we should go and show up, at least be supportive of the bride and groom. We also felt that if we didn't show up, people would think we were more part of the drama than we were. And if we did show up, maybe we would just be innocent bystanders like the rest. I can see your point there. This wedding was fucking strange, Bryan and Krissy. The whole event was marred by this bitch fuckfest that had happened the night before.
Yeah, that's all anybody would be thinking about.
Are you kidding me? It's like a dark... testicle colored cloud.
If I was that bride, I would be so pissed. First of all, it's her maid of honor that basically ruined her wedding. Yeah. And lives.
Yeah. Your wedding is going to be tainted by her divorce the entirety of your life. Yes. But now you got 250 fucking people waiting for this wedding to happen. They've all spent time and money and energy and effort to get down there. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
nothing. Yeah. You go on with the wedding as planned. And I guess we'll find out here in a second.
Marriage.
Marriage is what brings us here today. Marriage and cocaine.
Right.
The whole event was marred by this bitch fuck fest that had happened the night before, and you could just feel that everybody was whispering about it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
The maid of honor, however, did show up, but she was crying more than the bride.
What? The maid of honor was like in the wedding?
I guess. That's what it says.
Oh, my God.
It was just strange.
Yeah.
The maid of honor's husband, however, did not show up. He had apparently driven off in a fit of anger and was now back where he lived.
I'm with that dude. I'm with that dude.
Take the car, take the keys, get the kids, go somewhere else. That's right. Tara's sister had not shown up to the party, and we were really concerned. But we decided if we could just knock out a couple hours at the wedding and the reception, we could get upstairs and comfort Tara. The good news was Thad was nowhere to be sighted. I was almost certain he was going to show up, but he did not.
That's good.
At least not to the ceremony. A little foreshadowing there. When it came time for the reception, everyone jumped in the big ballroom and started dancing. Once the music came on, it started to feel 10% more normal in the room. And then, an hour into the reception, the doors flew open in the back of the room. I know,
like a bus.
And like smoke and light behind him.
Yes.
And he's got like one of those.
He's got like a
glass vial.
Yeah.
A ripped shirt and a glass vial with a long nail. This cokehead sponsored by Coors Light.
He busts open the doors.
He busts open the doors. It was as if when the doors flew open, the music stopped with a screech and the entire wedding paused. Thaddeus Maximus was in the house.
Thaddeus Maximus.
I could just see him like...
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm picturing too, like a tux jacket that the sleeves are ripped off.
My God.
Like hair slicked back and going everywhere.
He's got sunglasses on. He did it. He actually showed up. He was showing his face after sleeping with a bridesmaid on the beach, despite her marriage to another man and his marriage to another woman. Holy shit. Part of me was mortified, but most of me admired his courage. That's it. I gotta get part 2. There better be a part 2.
Oh my God. Thaddeus Maximus was in the house.
I'm with him. I gotta say, part of me is mortified, but most of me is like, dude, you took it further. Good for you. I feel like the commercial break is just going to turn into one person after another trying to outstory themselves.
Hey, I like it.
Hey, fact, news, or fiction.
Yeah.
60 seconds or less or your money back. I like it.
I like it too.
Good for you. Good for you. And I got part. Well, he tells me there's part 2. And
okay.
He's going to send it to me. So I didn't get it before the episode started. I don't know. We would have had time for it anyway. That's a good place to stop. Thaddeus Maximus kicks open the doors and everybody stops. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what happens next. I hope it's as good as part 1. That's all I got to say. Oh, man. Okay, tcbpodcast.com. That's where you go. You find out more information about Krissy and I. Watch all the video. You can listen to all the audio, all from one location. If you want to contact us, you have questions, comments, concerns, content ideas, you can do that through the website by hitting the Contact Us button and, sending us an email. Or you go to 661 or dial up 661-237-8296 on your telephone. Send us a text message or call. It'll give you a voice message, and then you can leave your own voice message, and we just might use your voice on a future episode. And I think that's why not a lot of people leave voice messages. Yes. It's because they're afraid of how many use their voice. Okay, fair enough. But if you feel so inclined, go to Instagram at The Commercial Break. You'll find there are clips daily and some fun stuff that we do. YouTube.com/The Commercial Break is our YouTube channel. Clips every single day of the week and full episodes a few days after they air here on the audio version. Please do us a favor and leave us a review on your favorite podcast player. A review, a comment, a rating, whatever your podcast player has. If you could do that for us, we certainly would appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's shown us support especially over the last couple of months. The show is just, I don't even know what's going on. It's just exploding. And so thank you very much.
Yes,
we recognize it. We see you. We just don't want to take ourselves too seriously.
I know.
The internet giveth, the internet taketh away. Krissy, I love you.
I love you.
And best to you.
Best to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I do say, we will say, and we always say, bye.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do have a favorite child.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
It's Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance. Get up to 60% off select Sealy, plus a free adjustable base, all with free and fast delivery. Deals this big won't last long, so don't miss out. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
The mistletoe margarita, the Scrooge driver, the North Pole punch. The holidays call for cocktails, so get everything you'll need for them delivered with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. So
what's it gonna be?
Classics like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio Reposado, or Kettle One, or maybe something new. Find it all on Drizzly, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered for any holiday festivity. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Deep underground the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?